But then one day I'm like, okay, I'm going to face this. And the universe provided me with the right people at the right moment to help me.
It sounded like we started from being aware that, okay, something needs to be healed. Because you cannot start the healing process if you don't even recognize that there's something wrong or there's something that needed healing. And it takes a lot of courage as well to admit that. Like, first getting into this relationship with Eli, we've gone through a healing journey together. And then right after that ceremony, the next day, I started crying because I realized I thought I'm normal. Like, no depression, no anxiety, none of that. But when I realized, oh my God, growing up, I had a lot of this trauma from family in my relationship. And now I'm here. I never processed any of those. Now I can see all of it. But awareness is not healing. It's how you do with that awareness. What will be the next step for you? But the first stage is being aware that there probably something that needs to be healed or done, and then having the courage to actually work through it. And sometimes we cannot do it alone. That's why we tap into mentors, teachers, and that's why coaches, therapists is there. And there's no shame to ask for help, right? Sometimes even friends, having this group of people in itself is healing because we can share ideas, we can hold space for each other without shame or judgment. There is different ways of how you can cultivate that healing journey. I would love to ask you girls if you can share some tips or ideas for someone out there who's actually feeling stuck and maybe have gone through a breakup or challenging situation in their life and they don't know how they can move forward. Where would they start?
That's really a good thing that you mentioned about the awareness, because I wasn't aware at first, but then when I started being aware, that's when everything started to fall into place. Some of you or some of us are just scared to face it, but it's actually very rewarding in the end. And I think the first thing that I could say is really grieve, cry, kick the trees. Go somewhere where you can release it however you can. You have to really release it. Go to a place where you can just cry the whole day, the whole week if you want. There's a lot of different ways to release. Some people would go swimming, some people would go kick the trees. You have to find your way. What is my way to release? And even as simple as just crying is helpful, because I'm the kind of woman like, "Oh, I'm not going to cry for this guy or I'm not going to cry for this situation. I can do this." But the moment I let go of that, as you mentioned, that the trauma or the energy can be stuck in the body, by crying it out loud, by kicking something, just not a person, it actually can be released. Crying is a very, very big help. And whenever you feel like crying, just cry. Whenever, whatever time, just let it go. Just let it release. And then after crying many days, time to reflect. Time to start maybe asking your body. And if you can do meditation, it really was a big help to me, because I was able to actually listen to my body, the stress or the energy that is not good. I actually get to know the part where is it stored, and I just give love to it. I say, I love you. I love you. I'm sorry that you actually get stored in there. I didn't mean to. I started my self-love journey, and to be able to really love yourself, like you're falling in love with another guy, but then you're falling in love with yourself.
Ah, I
It's
love
a
that.
very, 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 very good journey so far to be able to do that. Just really focus on yourself. Some people would say it's selfish, but not really. Just take care of yourself in a very simple way. Trust the process, and then you will just see the flow. And you flow.
I love that. Thank you, Leia, for sharing it. The power of releasing through crying, I can vouch for that. How about you, Shay?
I agree with Leia. The way you love the other person, imagine you giving that to yourself. Sometimes we don't think we are lovable. And like in a romantic relationship, we always just give and give, and then you forget to actually give something to yourself. And yeah, but anyway, I don't like giving advice about relationship because I just don't really think that I'm fit to give advice, but I can only share what works for me and what I do. If dealing with a breakup, I would not go anywhere. I just really just be at home, not see friends for a few weeks, 1 month, or it can even go for 2 months, and not talk to anybody because I would use that time to just really reflect on things. What can I do? How can I improve myself? How can I ready myself for the next person if I'm looking for another relationship? That's what works for me. Prioritizing myself instead of prioritizing the other person. Because again, in romantic relationships, that always happens.
Yeah.
Especially for women, you always prioritize the man.
Yeah.
So, like Leia said, if you can love the other person that much, just take that and give that to yourself.
I love that.
Because, yeah, you are lovable.
Aw. That's the message. You are lovable. Give that love to yourself. Thank you, Shay.
Yeah, for me, I think the first step is following your intuition. Really listen to your intuition, because if you ignore it, it will just come back. It will just bother you. Really sit on it for you to gain the awareness of what's really going on inside you, and the choices that you make. Where is it coming? Is it from the past pain that you're holding inside you that affects your decisions in life? And why is this so familiar to you? These questions are, I think, the first step. And don't ignore the healing process. Very important.
Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing your wisdom, your thought. And again, we're not psychologists, psychiatrists. We're just here sharing our own experience of what worked for us. And if any of you can relate or resonate, feel free to apply it in your own journey. And if you have further questions, feel free to comment it in the comment section below. I love the idea of, sometimes when we go through the healing process, we need isolation because we're already overwhelmed with our feeling, and other people, they can just overwhelm us even more. So we need that. And if you have a friend or someone that's going through that healing process, let them be. Let them have their own time. And then hopefully with the isolation, you're also releasing through crying, yelling, journaling, or whatever it is. And as what Maya said, follow your intuition, ask question. It's not about getting the answer, but I think when you start asking those quality questions, the answer will come itself. You don't even have to search for it. Just look for a good question that you can ask yourself, some questions that are actually empowering. So I hope that you learn a lot, because I do. And it's nice to be able to reflect in this journey, because I still have a lot of things that I can heal and work on. And I'm excited. So thank you so much again, everyone, for being here. Feel free to check out their channel and support them as well. And have a beautiful day. Mwah, mwah.